Kakadosh Boker Tov, Shushan Purim Sameach. Shulchan Aruch Besiman Tav Kaftet comes and he says, this is Ilchot Pesach. Shoalim Bilchot Pesach, Kodon Pesach 30 Yom. There is a minhag to be shoel Bilchot Pesach, Kodon Pesach 30 Yom. What does this refer to exactly? The Mishnah Berurah explains, Moshe Rabbeinu was on Pesach Rishon and he was teaching them Pesach Sheni. Right? He was teaching them the Halachot of Pesach Sheni, which was 1 month later. And the same halacha would apply to other Yamim Tovim. Also, Dorshin Kodem Right Lachen, Shoshim Yom Yilchoten, 30 days before, you're going to start learning the halachot. Tevatzeret Tzagim Yom Aleph Besivan, to do with. However, though, if you look in the Gaon, he says to do with Shavuot, it's enough only to start on Rosh Chodesh Sivan, which is only giving you 6 or 7 days. V'yesh Omrim, and some people say that the Chiyuv of Shoshim Yom is only on Pesach. Because Pesach, there's so many halachot, whether it's preparing the matzot, whether it's baking the matzot, hagalat kelim, biur chametz, right, and all the other halachot. That means Pesach is something special. Mashenke b'shar yamim tovim, but other yamim tovim, it's already going to be enough if it's going to be a few different days and that's it. But nevertheless itself, on Yom Tov itself, for sure, according to everybody, you have to come and you have to be learning these halachot. Now, if you're going to make an account, when do you start learning then Ilchot Pesach? So he says over here, so it says in Mishnah Berurah and Sif Katan Bet, Matchilim Yom Purim Atzmo. You would even start on Purim, meaning Purim in itself, you would start. Here there's a whole machloket brought down. The Yabia Omer brings down that the Pri Chadash actually is the one that brings down that he says is that okay, fine, but you have to actually start on the day of Purim, that's Shoshim Yamim Shlemim, or not. But then still, they say that you should start from it. That's what the Yabia Omer brings down. You should start from the day of Purim as well, even though obviously the halachot of Purim take precedence other than the halachot of Pesach, meaning if somebody comes to ask you the halachot of Purim or Pesach, obviously you would answer the halachot of Purim, which is that day, and that is Chaviv, but you would already start learning the halachot of Pesach as well. And then afterwards he brings down the entire concept that we have a minhag of being Doresh in Shabbat HaGadol, right, and Shabbat Shuvah, the entire concept of the halachot of the Pesach as well, right, again because of the importance of all these halachot. Now after the Shulchan Aruch brings down this concept of Shoalim Bilchot Pesach, to do with that if somebody starts coming and asking you the halachot of Pesach, that you're supposed to already be in the inyan of Pesach 30 days beforehand, the Rama comes and he says, Minhag liknot chitim, there's a minhag to purchase wheat and to give it to the aniyim on Pesach, right, for the necessity of Pesach. V'chol mi shedar ba'ir 12 chodesh tzarich liten lezen. Anybody that already started living in the city for 12 months, he's already considered the people of the city, and therefore he would have to actually come and start giving the money towards the aniyim. Okay, now here it says over here as follows. Here it says, the Mishnah Berurah says, what is this minhag? This minhag kadum comes from the time of the Gemara, and it's brought down in the Yerushalmi, right? And therefore they can actually even force each other. Now, what is the concept of the chitim? In their minhag, the minhag was not to give out chitim, but rather to give out the kemach, which is the flour. So he comes and he says, because by giving them the flour, anything which is closer to giving the benefit, which is going to be the matzot, so therefore it's easier. Other places they give matzot, which means there was a minhag to come and to give matzot to these families. Now he comes and he says each one according to what they need, because it says demach soro asher yechsar lo. And then he says, right, the 12 chodesh, he says this is if we're going to come and see that somebody wants to come and live in a city, so therefore he becomes obligated immediately, which means that this entire concept of 12 months was not because, right, that means basically he's coming to check out the city. However, if we come and we see that this person actually came and he's already starting to live in the city, so therefore immediately it becomes upon him the obligation of order to come and to pay for the kimcha, the pischa, what we call it, that is the kemach for Pesach. The reason why, again, a kemach for Pesach was olden days it started with the flour, and it started with the actual chitim, the grains, and then afterwards it became the flour. And again, this is the mitzvah of giving, right, to each other. If you remember, we did bring down in the past that one of the reasons why, right, it became such a minhag, right, and then nowadays it's much more that you give money, is because since not every single person, right, that relies upon the ashkacha or the kashrut of everybody else on Pesach, that's why it became a minhag. But if not, think about it. Which means that just invite people over. Why is it that you have this inyan of coming and giving them money? And the reason why is because of the like just what we mentioned right now. The fact that every single person has their own ashkachot or own kpedot on what exactly to be more strict and not. So therefore the minhag came that we just give them, whether it's going to be the money, whether it's going to be the matzot and things like that, in order that they should be able to do the chag right according to their standard and not to change any other standard. So B'ezrat Hashem, we're going to be continuing for the next little while learning the halachot of Pesach.